Hey guys, it's Laci and I'm here to show you how I made this faux fireplace. Nothing is fireproof. This is just for decoration. So I started off with this blank wall and I actually took painter's tape to kind of get my measurements. I didn't want anything too big for that area and I also didn't want anything too small. And then I also had to get the depth, like how wide I wanted it to, like from coming out of the wall. I needed to see what the measurements would be good for that. And I kind of just drew up something in my head and I wrote the measurements down, and then we went to Menards to get some wood. Basically, the first thing that we had to do was build the bottom stand. I think it's called a hearth, and that's what the fireplace is going to be sitting on. So based off of my measurements, I just used some plywood and then I attached 2x4s to the bottom of it. All right, so that part's done and that's out of the way, and now we have to start building the frame. This is kind of like the skeleton to the body, if you will. We have to build the frame so that way we can put something over it, and that's going to complete the fireplace. That's pretty much all we're doing here. So all I did was I took my 2x4s and based off the measurements that I had, I just cut them down the size I needed. Measure twice, cut once. After that, I just sanded off the edges and the rest of the 2x4s, and at this point I was super happy because I was thinking this was going to be a lot easier than it really was. It's really not that hard though, you guys. So here's all the 2x4s that I have pre-cut, and it's time to start building! Another quick tip that I can tell you is to make sure that you mark your pieces so you know what piece is going for what. So here we are, we just leveled this 2x4 up and this is getting drilled into the wall. And then from there, we're gonna start building the fireplace out from that. So that way it's attached to the wall and it's sturdy and it's not gonna go anywhere. You can definitely make one where you can move it if you want, but we just didn't want to do it that way. Make sure that they're center with the hearth, that way you don't have one part of it going off the ledge a little bit more than the other side. So just another thing to be aware of is just to make sure that that's equaled up and measured the right way before you go ahead and put your legs down. And honestly, the only thing that I did was just attach my 2x4s exactly how I wanted. And I'm gonna speed this up for you guys so you guys can kind of just see really quickly how I did this. And I'm just attaching them to the wall with some 2.5-inch screws. And make sure you're drilling into the studs. We just had a magnetic stud finder that we used. It was pretty easy to use. It was like $5. So here I am. I had to attach these little 2x4s to the wall using corner braces. And I used the 2-inch ones, and honestly this was really sturdy and it worked out really nicely, and I was so excited about how this was all coming together and I couldn't wait to finish it at this point. Here's exactly what our frame looked like before we put the next process that I'm about to show you on. So I couldn't find a picture of this anywhere on my camera or my computer. So here it is. We ended up attaching another 2x4 to the top there. That way it would be flush with the other 2x4s that are going horizontally. So here is this tempered hardboard. It's masonite, and I got this at Menards, and it came in a 4-foot by 8-foot, and I had them cut it down to 2 4x4s, and it was actually really funny. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen this picture, but I had it strapped to the roof of my car. So all I'm doing here is just I'm measuring it and cutting it to the size that I need for the front of my fireplace and also for the sides. So yes, this stuff is pretty flimsy, but don't freak out because once we attach it to our frame, because this is a skeleton right now, she needs a body, okay? So we're gonna give her this body, and once we attach it to the frame, she's gonna be really sturdy. And so I attached the masonite with a nail gun using brad nails, and then I had to go in and hammer it just to make sure that all the nails were all the way down, because we don't want any nails sticking out at all, because that wouldn't look nice. And it certainly wouldn't feel nice to, get your finger stuck by a nail. So I'm just attaching this with the nails and it's going to the frame. So you want to make sure that when you're doing this that you're getting on that frame. And I try to stay as close to the edges as I can. As you can see, I'm a little off on the left side. A little, but kind of like a lot. But that's okay. I came up with the solution that it was going to be okay. I didn't have to go out and buy another piece. Oh, and I was going to tell you guys, the masonite, which is really, really cheap. I think it's like $8 for the whole thing. So win-win, right? Okay, so the hearth is built. The frame, you got her dressed. She actually has a body now. Now it's time to make her look pretty. We got to put some accessories on her. So I just took some 2x12s. I cut them down the size I needed once again, and I just lined them up on the corners. And I made sure they were level, but also to where it was covering that big gap that I had on the left side. And we made it work. And I think that it looks pretty freaking good. So I lined those up on the front and then the side to make them connect. And then I also put one on the side that goes in between like the fireplace and the wall. I put one strip there and then, you know, on the corners on both sides. And we attached these with white finishing nails. After I had that done, I just felt like it just needed something more. So I went to Lowe's and I picked up some crown molding. It was just unfinished crown molding, and I decided to cut that down and I put that above, but like right below the mantle that you see right there. Good. For this picture right here, I just put the mantle on top of there. And I forgot to tell you guys, the mantle is just a piece of 2x12 and 4 feet long construction lumber. I got it for $7.17 at Menards, and I just like trimmed it down a little bit and put some stain on it, and it was good to go. And after all the paint and the stain dried, it was time for me to decorate. I just put some candles in there, even though we can't use them. I'm thinking about either an electric log fireplace that doesn't put off heat, you know, just kind of makes like the crackling sounds or whatever. Or, you know, you could just put in fake wood, or you could even put real wood in there. You can use electric candles, like the flameless kind. I mean, there's so many things that you could put in here. I just chose to use candlesticks. I just think that it looks the prettiest, and got them at Dollar Tree for $1 each, so that's another plus. If you guys decide to do this, please share it with me. I would love to see it. I love seeing you guys, you know, do things that I inspire you to do, but that you can make completely different based on your personality, your budget, your needs. Oh, and did I mention that I spent less than $100 to build this entire fireplace?